A lot of mixed reactions about the play calling for the Patriots against the Jets, and we're going to talk all about it. I'm Mariah, Janos, joined by Evan Lazar. Josh McDaniels last night, I was looking at Twitter, people were very upset with him. It seems like he's pretty insistent on being conservative when it comes to the play calling and not really letting Cam do what he's best at. Do you think overall this is hurting the team?
I do, because the formula for the Patriots, if you're going to be a run-first team, which I think is actually their best approach just in terms of personnel-wise, what they have on offense, they probably should lean heavily on a pretty successful running game. But unfortunately, what happens is if you play poor defense on the other side of the ball, you get down in a lot of games, and it's hard to come back, especially when you have a passing offense like the Patriots do, where they don't have a bunch of wide receivers to go out there and mount a fourth quarter comeback against some better football teams that aren't the New York Jets. So again, the Patriots in the first three quarters of this game last night ran the football 17 out of 21 times on first down, only 4 passes on first down until we got later in the game where they had to be aggressive because they were down 10 points. That type of conservative play calling when you don't play great defense is how you get down in the game in the first place. So Patriots were throwing the ball at will. They averaged 9.8 yards per attempt on those 4 pass attempts on first down. Yet McDaniels continued to hand the ball off. And I think from a big picture sense, you understand the strategy because their running game is the strength of their offense. But each game is different and each situation is different. And I would just like to see the Patriots coaching staff have a little bit more willingness to evolve with what's going on and developing right in front of them, where the running game is they're churning out difficult yards, but it's not easy. They're not easily getting yards on the ground, but they are easily throwing the football. I mean, nobody on the Jet secondary, they're still trying to cover Jakobi Meyers Tuesday morning. I mean, he's still wide open somewhere on that field. So throw the football, put it in the air a little bit more. And I really do believe that in certain matchups, in certain situations, they wouldn't find themselves trailing as much as they have recently in games.
Now, how much do you think this play calling is Josh McDaniels kind of, I don't want to say refusing to play to Cam's strengths, but also just not letting go of the past of this is what we've done. These are the plays we've called for the last 20 years. It worked for Brady. Let's just try to use it on Cam and not really focus on what Cam is actually good at.
I think that there wasn't as much of that over the last couple of weeks. I thought they did a lot more things for Cam that he felt comfortable doing, and you could tell just by his cadence on the field that he was okay with what they were running. I think the biggest thing is with just Cam and how he moved forward with this is that the Patriots seemingly as a coaching staff are afraid of negative plays on offense, whether it's big sacks, turnovers, interceptions. That's obviously been a really big problem. And I think the way they called that game-winning drive last night at the end of the fourth quarter was extremely telling. 2 screen passes and a draw to James White. That's sort of what got it started. But you say got it started, and they did hit an 11-yard play on a screen pass, but then they had to hit that chunk play to Jakobi Meyers, and then Nick Folk had to drill a 51-yard field goal. Maybe if you throw the ball a little bit more aggressively down the field earlier in that drive, it's not a 51-yard field goal, and it's a little bit easier attempt for Folk, and we're not sweating out there at the end of the game. And you also don't need that 20-yard play by Jakobi Meyers right before the kick to even get yourself into that position. So again, it's the conservative play calling. To me, it's a little bit like they're afraid of turning the football over in that situation. And I wouldn't say they were playing for overtime, but they were sort of had an eye to overtime where they said, okay, if we can get this going with screens and running back draws and things like that, then great, then we'll go for the field goal. But if we have to play for overtime, we'll play for overtime. And they still feel like the strength of this team is running the football, playing complementary football, running it, playing good defense, playing good special teams. That maybe that this isn't how that team is going to win with how the defense is playing.
Patriots Press Pass is brought to you by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code PRESSPASS20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code PRESSPASS20 and join the Manscaped movement today.